Welcome, Cancer, to your 2020 reading. I am so excited to be doing these readings. It's just, astrologically, it's the most phenomenal year next year. I don't think we've seen a year with so many powerful collaborations for a long, long time. They're going to affect us all in different ways, and I'm a great believer that the more we understand the incoming energy, the more we get to work with it. We can harmonise ourselves and use the energy so that we're working with it rather than against it. So these readings are like an overview. I'll also, of course, be doing the big monthlies. Guys, welcome back to anyone who's already part of the amazing A to Z community, the AZ Emotional Health community in YouTube, because that's what we're turning into. I am loving, really blown away as well by your comments, shares, the sharing of your journeys, the authenticity, the inspiration in people overcoming their difficulties, holding positivity, mind-blowing. For anyone that is new to the channel, welcome. I'm Jenny Florence. We're going to be drawing 6 runes. I use runes and a variety of cards. I am just literally, today is Sunday the 17th of November, depending on when you check in on this reading. Just to let you know, people have been asking which cards I use. I use a lot of different ones, and I've got a new page going up on my website which will be live by the end of the week, and I'll add it to the information box as soon as it's live. So if there are any cards that you are interested in, because I use so many different ones, you'll be able to find them all there. So yeah, and the runes as well. I'll put links in there for those too. So 2020, here we come. Let's draw some runes first. Okay, 2 runes have come out first. We have the Rune of Constraint and the Rune of Openings. Now these are interesting because in a way they sort of slightly contradict each other, the energy of them. The Rune of Constraint kind of says that maybe there are obstacles in the way, that you feel restricted by something. It's a rune that invites perseverance though. It's not suggesting that you're restricted or there's a constraint that is in any sense, has any sense of permanence about it, particularly with the Rune of Openings. The Rune of Openings is the rune of fire. It's like a torch. It's renewed clarity, the morning of activities. There is an emphasis on both of these runes. I'm going to say they kind of connect into the law of attraction, okay, because the Rune of Constraint speaks about the obstacles that we create for ourselves as well as those that come to us in our external world. And the Rune of Openings is, there's a very famous quote from the book that I learned about runes from, where it says that you develop enough light to be able to see that the patient on the operating table is yourself. So it's kind of like this acknowledgement that when we do the work on ourselves, that everything externally then shifts in accordance with that. So it's very much connected into the law of attraction, both of these runes particularly together, which is a pretty powerful pretty powerful start to looking at a reading for 2020 if you are wanting to be active in kind of honing your kind of manifestation skills, taking charge of your lives, and bringing in your desires. So let's see what comes next for us. Okay, we actually have the Rune of the Self. Interestingly enough, again, this brings a very clear message. It requests or invites, I suppose, a willingness to change. It's a very powerful rune. It speaks of major growth and rectification. And during times of very powerful transition, it asks you to, I'm going to say, just to be steady. It's like it speaks of living an ordinary life in an extraordinary way. It's about understanding, back to this energetic resonance and the law of attraction. let's say you are wanting to bring in some deep desire that you've held for a long time, but some part of you, I don't know, let's say you are wanting to bring someone into your world who is going to be meeting you on equal terms and giving as much as they receive, giving as much as they take. Let's say this is a hypothetical example. But if by that same token, in your ordinary life, you are not giving your fullest, as in, and by that, in a very ordinary way, I literally mean, like, you know, if you're going to, whether you are going to work and completing a job of tremendous importance, or you are hanging the washing on the line, it's kind of like doing it to the very best of your ability, not being shoddy, not cutting corners, going the extra mile. If you're wanting to draw someone into your life who will go the extra mile, we have to go the extra mile too, but we have to do it in the ordinary things, the ordinary ways as well. And that's the sort of flavour of this, especially during times of transition, because this rune speaks of right action and of almost like sort of like staying out of your own way, just being fully engaged and immersed in everyday living, and allowing your energy to shift, so that energetically your external world begins to resonate and shift in accordance with that. Let's draw some more runes. Okay, we have two more. We have the Rune of Protection and we have the Rune of Fertility. I'm really loving the way the energy is going with this. This is kind of like some personal work to be done. But as you journey through the year, I would say huge transitions. And these transitions start from within, which is marvellous, because that is an empowered place to be. If we're feeling as though circumstances outside of us are all going haywire, and we feel out of our own control, or we don't feel we can do anything, we're sitting in a place of disempowerment. This is about you guys stepping into a position of full personal empowerment, that level of empowerment that comes through really becoming your own kind of hero or heroine, journeying inwards, becoming an observer of yourself. That's kind of what the Rune of Protection is all about. It kind of says, you will progress, and if anything surfaces that doesn't feel okay, look within. Don't look without to try and change things, look within. It also asks you to be mindful of the highs and lows of emotions at times of change. It also brings a reassurance that you will progress. Everything is moving forwards. Don't sweep anything under the carpet. Allow anything in your world, again, if you're living that ordinary life in an extraordinary way. It's almost as though we allow. It's like practicing the art of allowing whilst holding our own vision of intention for the future. Trusting that everything the universe brings to us is there because we're needing to cross the T's, dot the I's, to tweak things, to let anything go that doesn't serve us, but to keep anything that does. It feels like there's a lot of evaluation going on. Fertility, wonderful, new beginnings. This rune, the energy of this rune speaks of the need for harmonizing, for union, for connection. It also speaks of completions of beginnings. So I would say if you've already started what feels like a new chapter in your life, or indeed as we move into 2020, and we're coming pretty close to 2020, if you are moving into 2020 or in 20, and you've already started a new chapter, a new phase, or as we move into the year, you find yourself in a space of new beginning. Again, crossing the T's, dotting the I's. There's something about needing to be quite meticulous that's coming through here in the way that you approach things. Back to this living an ordinary life in an extraordinary way. We'll draw one more rune. Okay, so we have the Rune of Harvest. Magnificent. Lovely, lovely energy. I'll pop those up there because I don't think we'll be drawing more unless I hear to during the reading. The Rune of Harvest. Again, really interesting because we started the reading with an energy of perseverance, a message of perseverance. We end the reading, or the rune part of the reading. Obviously, we're going to be drawing a lot of cards. We end the rune part of the reading with a message of perseverance, but this has a different flavour to it. Just as the Rune of Constraint speaks of perseverance through any and recognising any obstacles both within or without, that's not where we are when we get to the Rune of Harvest. The Rune of Harvest is talking about a cycle of time. It asks you to persevere. You can't, if you plant some seeds, you can't force them to grow. You know, if we start a garden, you know, we can nurture, we can water, we can provide the best conditions, we can make sure we've prepared the soil before we sowed the seeds. But ultimately, we have to allow them to grow, and we can work with that. You know, we can talk to them, we can sing to them, we can sit with them, we can water them. As I said, we can nurture in every possible way, and that's what I'm actually hearing. I'd like you to be really mindful this year of nurturing yourselves. This rune speaks of patience. It also is a rune of reassurance. It says that, you know, this cycle of evolution will come to fruition. I mean, this is an energy of fruition, as is the rune of fertility, blossomings, new beginnings. So there's a lot of power available to you guys to be able to transition. I almost feel like it's like stepping into a higher version of yourselves, or the best version of yourselves in some way. But in doing so, it's almost like every step you take in your own development, the universe kind of mirrors you. It's very much a law of attraction reading, possibly the most of the readings I've done so far for 2020. I would say this is possibly the most law of attraction orientated that I've done so far. So guys, I'm going to place the runes up here at the top. They should all still be in camera, I think, because we are going to draw a lot of cards. Okay, really, really lovely energy here. We'll draw from one of the tarot packs first, my oldest pack of tarot cards, my dear old friends. And we have, what did I say about the law of attraction? I often laugh, you know, when I pull cards out, because I'll be thinking something or feeling something or saying it, and suddenly you turn over a rune or you turn over a card and it's like, oh yes, okay, thank you, that's a validation. We have the Magician, the card of manifestation. Okay. Magical, magical, magical. Okay, we then have the Three of Swords and the Six of Wands. The Three of Swords, this is this completion of beginnings. The Three of Swords says that you come out of a conflictual situation. You may find you're literally in the transition of that right now, because we are heading towards 2020. So whatever has been going on for you, and you know, you guys have had some pretty tough challenges to face. You really, really have. You guys have had all of this Saturn, Pluto energy directly opposite you for quite a while now. This is challenge after challenge after challenge. This is, well, it's just been a tough time. Saturn and Pluto are going to come together in January 2020. I think it's around the 17th. I would need to check on that. But the point is, that's when they actually come together. And although that energy is still going to be dominating us next year, it's also going to shift. And Jupiter is moving through and joining that little team, which means that you are going to see a lot more energy of expansiveness, of new horizons coming your way. So it's going to create openings, it's going to create renewed clarity. This is the energy of Jupiter. So actually things are really astrologically going to shift for you guys. I'm not saying there won't still be those karmic lessons. Indeed, this is the crossing of the T's, dotting the I's, the completion of beginnings. Everything that's been going on with the calling of the Saturn-Pluto connection, it calls us to release anything that no longer serves us, whether that is globally or internally on a personal level. Structures are being called into question, and we are asked to dissolve any structures, reorganize, restructure, literally, let go of the old, bring in the new. But that can be pretty tough and pretty harsh. There's also, for a lot of people, quite a karmic journey going on. Saturn is often known as Father Time, the father of karma. This is the shift for you guys, and I think it's the shift as Jupiter starts to move in with these expansive new horizons. You get to start to begin to dream again, rather than firefighting and having to get through. You just get through one thing and then suddenly something else happens. This is this energetic, there's going to be this massive energetic shift. And although the Saturn-Pluto energy is still around, it is going to be a little bit different. And you move beyond something. You put something down, you move beyond it. And this is interesting because this is a card of victory, the Six of Wands. And not only is it a card of victory, but people see that growth in you. It gets acknowledged. Your transition gets validated by others. It isn't just the internal journey is there, but it is reflected into the outside world, and it's acknowledged and validated by people around you. Lovely energy, King of Wands. Lovely, lovely energy. This is stepping up. There's new vitality, new life, new opportunity. This is, again, this visioning in of the future. I think for the first time in quite a while, you literally have the opportunity to look ahead. When stuff keeps happening and it feels like the world is throwing things at us, there isn't sort of enough internal space to be able to really look ahead and vision in the kind of future that we want. It's like, guys, if you were a pie chart, so if I was to draw like a little pie chart, a circle here, and that's the energy you have available to you. Every time something big happens in your life and you have to firefight, it uses up a segment of that energy, which means there's less of it available to be kind of entering your own dream time, allowing yourself to look ahead, to plan the future. I think for the first time in a long time, you start to get to plan the future. I've been working on this ASTRO-MOON diary for next year. I wanted to be able to really look at the astrology ahead of time. So I've kind of been really deeply involved in that over the last few weeks. And there is so much going on that creates the potential for manifestation. You guys are going to see some very powerful Jupiter energy coming in, particularly as we head into the summer. But the influence is already going to start to be felt by you. But again, cross the T's, dot the I's. And here we have a magnificent card to be finishing with. The World. This is a card of completions and new beginnings. This is literally, what do you want to create for yourselves? I feel like the process, as the Saturn-Pluto energy begins to, well, as I said, it's going to be around this year, but in a different way, and alongside Jupiter, I think you are going to go through this space of evolution where you start to be able to make plans for the future, to vision in what you would like, and you get to put an awful lot of things behind you. But I do think there's still a residue of energy that says cross the T's, dot the I's, and do so with, it's like the impeccable actions of the spiritual warrior. That's what I want to say. That's the being extraordinary in an ordinary way. It's like, be impeccable, take right action, do things meticulously so that every time something shows up or is still lingering, you sort it out, you put it down, you move beyond it. And systematically, you're just going to keep on growing and growing and growing. And that pie chart is going to you're going to gradually find that you have more and more and more space within it to begin to literally plan for the future, to work out what it is you would like to manifest. This is a very, very powerfully law of attraction orientated reading. I'm going to draw from one of the other tarot packs that kind of shows the dynamics and energy of the people around you. It's a lovely pack of cards, beautiful illustrations. I like that this is sitting below the Magician. This is about learning from life, learning from your experiences. Learning, and I'm going to also say potentially teaching others as well, sharing your knowledge. I'll go through all these cards one by one once we've drawn them all. Wow, this is just lovely. 8 of Earth. We have 3 of Air, 8 of Earth. 9 of Water. 3 of Fire. Oh, so much energy for you guys to move and to start to dream of a future, and indeed to take steps towards it. And then we have the Scribe. Magical kind of storyline, very much in tune with the runes, interestingly enough. So guys, let's talk through these. It's certainly really a reflection of the runes. The runes, by the way, we always work from the right to the left, and cards tend to go from the left to the right. It's just the way of reading them, actually. It's always how I have done that. 3 of Air. This is about learning from life, expand your mind, education, study. It's really interesting because connecting in here with the 8 of Earth, which is about growth, manifestation. Again, the art of attraction, the law of attraction is here. It's about accomplishment. It's about success, abundance. There is a connection between these two because this card says do what you love. And it promises a time of abundance ahead, okay? But you kind of have to align yourself and take a risk and trust that you're going to do what is right for you in order to align yourself sort of energetically. The card of the 3 of Air says that lessons will continue to repeat themselves until we learn from them. We need to learn from life. We need to grow from life. We need to explore our own talents. So guys, if you are or have been, if any of you have been feeling stuck in terms of your work, your direction, this is all about developing your own learning, processing your learning so that you move. Again, the person on the operating table is yourself. The lessons need to be integrated into wisdom within you so that you learn from your experiences and you move beyond them. And my goodness me, you've had some tough shouts over the last couple of years. That is this Saturn-Pluto collaboration opposite you. Then we have the 9 of Water, illumination, awareness. This acknowledges that past experiences leave a mark. They leave an emotional mark. But interestingly enough, the energy of this card says that you can break those cycles. You don't have to keep following the same patterns. You have enough illumination to be able to move beyond any hindrances of the past. This is so what the law of attraction, I think, is fundamentally about, particularly if we approach the law of attraction from a spiritual perspective. So we are looking at it from the perspective of the soul's evolution within the human experience, and that we come here because there are specific lessons that we are needing to learn in order to elevate our levels of consciousness, and that in turn contributes to the collective energetic resonance, the collective consciousness. If that makes some sense. I think we're all on that journey. That's the journey of the spiritual warrior. This is a year where the stuff that you have been going through is coming to an end, and you begin to find new horizons. You start to, basically you've learned the lessons, you have a clarity, and this allows you to take action. The 3 of Fire is an energy of opportunity for exploration, stepping into the unknown, being yourself, but with a degree of trust that, again, it's follow your heart. Really follow your heart. Learn from life. Listen to yourself. This is a card of saying that abundance is promised. Be your authentic self. The scribe is really interesting because the scribe 12 of air, it's a thoughtful card. It's asking you to be mindful. Notice yourself, notice your pathway. As you travel into new territory, be aware of it. And I would say involve yourself in mindful thinking. And do you remember in the runes, we were speaking about managing the highs and lows of emotions. The scribe is kind of connecting to that energy. It's kind of saying, look, if anything surfaces, just acknowledge it, lean into it, don't sweep it under the carpet. Everything that surfaces now, it's not as big as it has been. It's more that it's surfacing again so that you can cross the T's, dot the I's and put it down. The scribe is a knowledge keeper, a record keeper, someone who, I think when we are able to observe ourselves, then we can turn experience into wisdom. And for me, that's what this card really symbolises. It's our ability to integrate through mindful thinking patterns, as opposed to what I would call emotionally driven thinking patterns. I think the emotionally driven ones are the ones where, again, if we experience powerful emotions, they tend to trigger thinking patterns. So we might, if we're anxious, we often get into what I would call what-if thinking patterns. You know, what if this happens? What if that happens? If we experience disappointment, we tend to get into the kind of thinking patterns that go along the lines of, oh, it always happens to me. Why did I bother? I knew it wouldn't work out. You know, there are very specific thinking patterns that come with certain emotional states. And so I would kind of be saying, if we are in a mindful state of thinking, we can notice our emotions rather than react to them. And that is a very empowered position to be in. I feel like this for you guys is a year of personal empowerment. I think that may even be what I call it when I put this video up. But it really is. It's a year of personal empowerment. You're shifting from a place where stuff has been happening to you to the place where you have so much understanding and so much energy with you to literally put things down as they arrive, to tackle them, and everything is going to be moving forwards. You can begin, I think, at long, long last, to start to dream of a future, because I think that's been pretty tough. We're going to draw from one of the other tarot packs now. Again, card of completion, magic energy, wonderful. Exactly what we were saying, completion of beginnings. Card of truce. I'm loving this. Actually, I'll draw the others before I delve into the meanings of these cards. But wow, oh, this is just lovely. We have the card of abundance and we have the card of death. Super cards, just awesome. Completion. It is exactly that. And it's a flavour for the year. It's really interesting. And the reason it's a flavour for the year is because you guys have had so much on your plate. It's kind of like if you're spinning plates and you've got so many of them up in the air, you're kind of having to tackle them one at a time, but actually you are tackling them successfully. You're literally putting them down. The card of truce, not truth, that's interesting because it's actually a similar meaning, this card. But the card of truce says, if there is a surface calm, look at the emotions underneath. You know, like if you're looking at the ocean and it can look calm and beautiful and tranquil, but underneath there are powerful undercurrents. Be aware of the undercurrents. Again, this is part of your learning and part of what is going to put you into a position of empowerment. Again, illumination, understanding that the past leaves an emotional mark. When we understand what those emotions are, we are in charge of what we do with them. This is a year of empowerment for you guys. So this is emotional freedom. It's the ability to relate to others with emotional freedom from a position of empowerment. And the Death card, well guys, you don't get the Death card, and the Tower card are the two major cards of transformation. The Tower being the internal transformation, the Death card being the external world transforming. I would have said if a card was going to dominate your energy, the Tower would have dominated this year, 2019. It's been a continual stream of having to face internal challenges. And actually what happens as you enter these sort of little mini phases of completion, which I think are going to be around, again, opening doorways of opportunity, as you navigate through this, understanding anything emotionally that's left, so you deal with it and you move on and you become open and available. Your pie chart, the space in it is getting bigger and bigger for you. What happens is your external world starts to shift and change accordingly. This is again this sort of law of attraction theme coming into this. That really is the flavour. For me last year, for you, or last year, this year, because we are still in 2019 as I'm doing this reading. Although to be fair, you guys might want to check in. I've been saying to people, I'm putting these in a playlist because it's a 2020 reading. You might want to check in if you have a wobble. Check in, you know, at any time during the year. You might get to Easter and think, you know, where was I at? And just check in with it. I mean, obviously alongside the monthly readings as well. But yeah, I think your external world is going to shift and it's going to become a representation of all of the changes that you have worked at, and much, much deserved. I am now going to draw from the Art of Manifestation cards because that feels such an appropriate energy. Okay, this is lovely. Take time out. This is a real flavour for you guys because you have been on such a journey. So this is about looking after number one, please. Give yourself permission to stop. Sometimes we just need to slow down and rest up. And yet so often we keep on pushing and pushing, even though there are clear signs that we should stop. Taking time out now will allow you to replenish your energy and return, revitalized and with an abundance of focused energy. Okay? Big message for the year, guys. Take time out whenever you need it. If things are not running smoothly, trust that you just need to ease off. Don't try to force anything. It's going to happen anyway. You know, again, take time out, allow yourself to see clearly, cross the T's, dot the I's, do the work in hand, be ordinary in an extraordinary way, and then when a doorway of opportunity opens, you can move through it. Interesting card here. We now have, it's safe to relax. I think you guys are, some of you guys are really, really going to relate to the message in this card. You've been through a major ordeal and you've been amazing. You've handled it all. But as a consequence, you have learned to live on high alert, and this needs to change. Your mind needs peace and your body needs to relax and repair. This card brings a message. You are safe now. It is okay to relax. Connecting again, take time out. Really, really big on self-care. And what do we get? The card of self-care. I do love it when this happens. I'll be talking about something, as I said, it happened with the magician, didn't it, as well? It's just, you know, and up comes the next card. Self-care is not an act of selfishness, it is an act of consciousness. This card invites you to prioritise your own self-care. This may feel selfish to you, but in truth, when you attend to your own needs with love and care, you create an inner wealth that radiates into the world, impacting positively on all that you come into contact with. I actually really hear a second message on this one too, which is, and I want to be quite clear on this one, If you are an overgiver, and you know, Cancer, that's naturally in you, you're naturally nurturing of others. If you overgive, then you are contributing to the imbalance in the world. Yeah, overgivers, you think you're giving and giving for the right reasons, and you are. Your intentions are good. But actually it fosters the ability of other people to take and not to actually step into their fullest potential, because as long as they can take the easy pathway and get what they need from you, they don't have to step up and really become the best version of them. So inadvertently, overgivers are actually contributing to the problem. And trust me, I know, because I have been one, and I have had to work so hard on this area in my own personal life. So I really get it. It took me a long time to really fathom out where that sat. Lovely energy, take a leap. New opportunities are going to come your way, guys. This card is an invitation to take a leap of faith. Sometimes, even when we desperately desire change, we procrastinate and find all kinds of reasons as to why we should stay as we are. It is completely understandable to be anxious when stepping into the unknown. This card is calling you to trust and make that move. Guys, as and when opportunities present themselves, step through those doorways. Complete things, completion of beginnings, complete things as you need to. And just take it step by step. Don't push it, don't force it. Chill, look after yourself, prioritise self-care, take time out when you need it. But don't procrastinate, don't hold back, because the energy is available for you to start to really manifest. Energetically, there's opportunity to manifest a very different kind of external world for yourselves. And of course, it's based on the internal shifts that you're making. Okay, I'm having too many cards are leaping out, more than I'm asking for really here. Although if more come one go, then we'll have to do that. We have had two cards that have come out, so I will use them both. Take a risk and take your time. It's interesting because these cards sort of feel like a contradiction, but they're not. It's all about taking things gently, slowly, step by step, but also not holding back, not procrastinating. Step out of your comfort zone. Feeling safe and secure is a wonderful experience, but if we remain in our safe zone for fear of change, we create a limiting and restrictive environment that can ultimately lead to stagnation and the loss of our creative potential to manifest our greatest contribution in the world. Let go of fear and take a risk. There is a real flavour here of self-care, looking after yourself, but actually don't hold yourself back either, but just take your time. Slow down. If you are feeling under pressure, whether in response to a situation or the demands of another person, or from pressure that you are placing on yourself, this card asks you to slow down and take time to evaluate before reaching a conclusion, making a decision, or committing yourself. Very powerful message here. Everything is moving forwards as it should. But don't be pressured by anyone else or yourself. Take time. But for goodness sake, allow yourself to internally focus on what it is that you desire. I'm going to say above and beyond the needs of other people. It's really coming through. I'm just going to shift the camera. I think you possibly can't see all the cards otherwise. I'm going to just draw an astrology card, or possibly two, just to wind up this reading. But I think the energy, the flavour of next year is really clear for you guys. Really clear. Wow, that one just flew out. Love it. Fire element, desire. Really focus on your desires. For the first time in a long time, I think there's going to be space and energy to do that. And literally pie chart that has been so stacked full of firefighting, fire element desire, there's been no room for desire. That's shifting, that's changing, the energy is shifting for you guys. You're going to have that wonderful, expansive Jupiter energy coming in opposite you, coming your way. Expansive, new horizons, new possibilities. Okay, and then we have Leo. I will. Make a commitment to yourselves, guys. Oh, that was lovely. I just heard that little, as I put that card there, it touched the singing bowl and it gave a little bit of a ring. Leo, I will. Give yourselves permission, make that commitment to yourselves. And truly, the energetic shift will take place within you. Consistently, as I said, take your time, relax, prioritize yourself. But do take a leap, do take a risk. Opportunities coming your way, new opportunities. There's a lot of healing, I'm also going to say, in this reading. Because as you are progressing, each time something surfaces and you cross the T's, dot the I's, put it down, make more space in that pie chart, healing is taking place, and that healing is really creating the most profound internal shift that then really starts to manifest in your outside world. A really lovely flavour for you guys for 2020. I'm excited for you because I know you guys have had some tough times, particularly this year and indeed last year too. So big wow. So much love to you all, and yeah, I look forward to seeing you for the monthlies. I'll be doing the December readings soon. Obviously that will be completely irrelevant if you're checking in on this reading in the middle of next year, so just I apologize. When I make a video or a reading, I often catch myself saying something and then I think that's going to be so relevant at some point in the future, and somebody might still be wanting to check in on this, so my apologies for that, but you know what I mean anyway. Guys, so much love. Take it easy, and yeah, I really look forward to connecting with you as we travel our journey as spiritual warriors on this pathway. So much love.